everybody. It's Dr. Achina Stein for another episode on What If It's Not Depression Vodcast. I am really excited about the person I'm going to be interviewing for you and an upcoming event that I am wanting to tell the whole world about because I think it's so important. I have so many patients who work with me that, get so far with their all of the issues that they're dealing with in terms of diet and movement and sleep and fixing their gut. And at some point they get to a place where they hit a wall and they kind of plateau, or they just feel like they're just grinding their wheels. And it's like, what is going on with me? And if you really look deeper on a deeper level, what we sometimes come to a place is this feeling of not feeling worthy or not deserving, or even feelings of self-hatred. And so Kerry Tepedino is a global leader in women's personal development, focusing on mindset mastery, emotional intelligence, and self-love. And I think it's so important for us to hear this, because if those kinds of things don't change, you're not going to be able to move forward. And I've seen a number of patients in my sessions, and I've already told them about this event that's coming up. It's in late September. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to send you a link with all of this information, but I want you to hear from her about how she supports women in challenging their self-defeating behaviors and overcoming post or past traumas and fears to create a life of true happiness rooted in self-love. She's going to talk about her perfect health mastery, awaken and discover your sacred self programs that have supported thousands of women on upleveling their lives in all areas, including physical, mental, and emotional health, relationships, and professional careers, finances, and more. So stay here and watch this all the way to the end. You're going to love it. Welcome, Terry. I was going to say Terry.
Hi.
Welcome, Terry.
So funny. I don't know why a lot of people call me Terry. They put that first letter of my last name in my first name. It happens all the time. I actually have an Aunt Terry, so that's actually funny. But hello. I'm so excited to be here, and thank you for that glowing introduction. And you're spot on, Gina, Dr. Stein. You're spot on in regards to, we can address our nutrition, our exercise, the protocols that you're giving, the protocols that our peers are giving. We can do all that, and that's really important. And hand in hand, what goes along with that, not replaces that, but what goes along with that is what is happening with your personal development work. What is that inner conversation? Where's your mindset? Where's your emotional mastery and your relationship to yourself? Because in the world that we live in today, which has been a crazy, wild world the past year and a half, but in the world we live in, there's going to be adversity. There's going to be, whether it's pandemic or your car gets a flat tire or your tech on your computer doesn't work or whatever it is, right? There's adversity. Right. And it's not that life isn't going to happen. Life is going to happen to all of us, no matter what your age, your economic status, right, your brilliance, like all of that. Like, life happens. But who are we being in the face of adversity is everything. And who are we being to celebrate our life, not just get by the times that feel tough, but who are we being also to remember to celebrate how far we've come and the successes that we've had, and reinforce to ourselves, hey, if I conquered that, if I triumphed depression, or if I triumphed anxiety, if I triumphed stress once, then, hey, maybe I can do it again. And then that maybe I can do it again starts to become there more of a confidence level. Like, I've done this before. I've triumphed this. I can do it again, right? And we build up the courage within women and the confidence within women to understand that the power is within you, but it's starting with how you think. Right. Absolutely. And that's what you were insinuating as well.
Absolutely. Yes. And how to respond. to the stress,
Yes.
right? It's resilience. Developing resilience is really, really important. So yeah, the leadership starts from the top, right? Your whole body listens to what's going on from, commander in control here, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and
And I love that you say that. And so can I speak into the word leadership really quickly? It's one of my favorite words. So for our friends who are listening to this right now, you might think leader, well, I'm not a leader. I'm not in the workforce still, or I'm not leading a group, or I'm not in a management position. I'm retired. I'm a grandma taking care of my grandkids, or, so I know we have people all across the board here. And even if you might not be the CEO of a business or a corporation, or leading a group professionally, you are the CEO of your own life. And we all are. So that leader that Dr. Stein's talking about, that leader, we are all that. We all have a position of leadership within our lives. And the question is, what are you doing with it? No matter if you're 20 or 80 years old. Right?
So there's a caveat to this though, because people will say, oh yeah, I take care of everything. I'm organized, and everybody around me is really, really happy, and I do all the things that I'm supposed to do, want to do, etc. But they're not part of it. So the leadership about everyone around them, their family life or their home life, doesn't necessarily include them. They're put on the back burner. And I think sometimes people put all their energies on everybody else because they don't want to think about themselves, or they don't think that they deserve it. So you're the CEO of your mind, body, and spirit.
Yes.
And they have to be part of the whole program.
Right. And not only have to be, so this is a mindset tweak, but we get to make sure they are. We are blessed. Like, we are all blessed that we're actually in this conversation together right now. And I know that this specific podcast right here, this interview is going to be a defining moment for at least one person who's listening to this right now. This is going to be a wake-up call. And so also remembering, like, you didn't stumble upon this interview by chance. Like, you're here for a reason. And all of our friends who are listening to this, there's a nugget here for you. The nugget for you might be different than the nugget for the next woman or the next person, but the one that's going to resonate with you, boom, let's take action on that right away. Let's not let this be one of the best podcasts or interviews that we've heard and do nothing with it, right? You get to breathe action into that. And I love what you said about, so many people have put themselves on the back burner. It's like they forget to include themselves in that equation of health and happiness. But if we're not focusing on ourselves first, which is not selfish, if we're not focusing on ourselves first, we can't help our children and our grandchildren and our spouses and our employees and our employers. We're just not capable. Right. And I'm sure you see this in your patients.
Absolutely. I always talk about how, even your car needs gas in the car. Even your cell phone has to have its battery charged.
Yes.
If you don't do those things, they are going to die.
Right. We are no different.
Exactly. We're no different. I mean, we might last a little bit longer because we keep pushing ourselves and pushing ourselves and pushing ourselves. But at some point, your body's going to say, nope, not going to do it anymore. Right. And so commander in chief here has to listen to that and pay attention. And so sometimes I have people who come into my practice when they're at that point.
Right.
But that shift has to be made in terms of caring for yourself, that it's not just getting back to doing the same old. It's figuring out how to do it so that you can maintain and sustain yourself in a way that, and it really does come down to self-love and self-nurturing and putting your oxygen. There's a reason why they say to put your oxygen mask on first, right? Before you help anybody else,
Right, exactly. And so, we have this cup that we fill for our self-care and our health and our happiness. And oftentimes like that cup gets depleted. But what we want is we want that cup to be so overflowing that you're giving to others from the saucer that cup is sitting on, right? There is enough time in the day for us to include our self-care. There is enough time in the day and for us to do that and support those that we love. There is enough resources in the world. There's enough health for everybody. There's enough of everything. We live in a very abundant world. But if we're looking at the world through the lenses of there's not enough, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money to invest in myself, I don't have enough support, I don't have enough knowledge. Well, if you keep focusing on not enough, you're going to have the experience of not enough. And then health and happiness will be very difficult. So really coming at this as, okay, the solution that I'm looking for is already in escrow for me. Like that solution that I'm looking for is already there. It's making its way to me. And I get to be open. I get to have an open heart and an open mind to be able to hear it and then receive it. Just like this conversation right here, right now, could be that big wake up call for a lot of our friends who are listening. And then, you know, really like, what is that first and next step that you get to take if you feel like you've been stuck in a rut and you feel like, you know, I wake up and I'm not energized and I just keep slamming the alarm clock and I don't get out of bed. And maybe you're feeling a bit of stress and worry and depression. And maybe you've been in that place for a while. And it's like, okay, so then how do I get out? Right? Because I think that's a hard place to be.
Absolutely.
Do you have a lot of your patients or clients that are coming to you in that place right from the get-go, I imagine?
Oh yeah, totally stuck and spinning their wheels and they've gone from doctor to doctor to doctor, and not really being given any solutions that make sense to them, you know, other than offering a medication or psychotherapy and they might do those things, but they don't work. Right. They really don't work. Yeah. So tell us about what your system is that you offer. Give us more details about that.
Well, the system that the foundational system that we have created, our proprietary system, is called the Sacred Self System. Mm-hmm. And even though we are, you know, men and women, but I work specifically with women, even though we are women living in a very worldly world, we are definitely sacred. Like there's a spiritual aspect to all of us, right? And we're holistic beings. We're not just physical beings, we're holistic beings. Mm-hmm. And that includes the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects of us. And so the Sacred Self System is a system, it's a 5-step system to help women really wrap their minds around, because I study the brain a lot. I geek out on the brain. I love studying the brain. And our brains, our minds want to hook into something, and so that it can make sense of what we're asking ourselves to do. And so the Sacred Self System is a 5-step system. Step 1 is mindset mastery. Step 2 is emotional mastery. Mm-hmm. Step 3 is relationship to self. Step 4 is becoming and staying present. And then step 5 is sustain the transformation, just like you just said. Mm. And that 5th step is super important. A lot of people, a lot of programs, authors, speakers that talk about similar subjects forget that last step. And I feel like it's like the most important step, because we don't want to band-aid the situation. We really want to teach you skills. We want to give you strategies, tips that are proven, have worked for thousands of women before our friends here. And, you know, we want it to become, this is who I am now. This isn't some short-term fix. It's not some magic pill. It's not some Band-Aid that's going to bring some relief. Relief is really nice, but bring relief for a short period of time. We want to help you shift who you're being so that you have that confidence in yourself, and so that you really do know that you're changing the trajectory of your life when you invest your time, energy, resources in yourself. You are your best return on investment.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. So what's the first step? What do people need to do?
Okay, so the first step in the sacred self system is mindset mastery. And so, as I speak into the 5 steps of the process, it might be like, okay, well that sounds easy. It's like, well, it might be simple, but it's not always easy to apply. And that's why accountability, that's why community that's why very good mentorship is very important to this process.
Right.
So you want the right strategies in the right order, and you want the right people around you, or success is very, very hard to come by.
Right.
But
And I imagine it takes practice too.
it's I mean, it's
right. That's the hard part.
Yeah. I mean, so I've hit a rock bottom before, and I didn't hit rock bottom overnight. It took, but I was there for a while, and I didn't get out of it overnight. Right. And so it takes consistency, and the thoughts that we're thinking every day are influencing the emotions that we have every day, that are influencing the actions that we choose to take. The consistent actions become our habits. Right. And those daily habits are absolutely 110% affecting the results that you have in your life right now. The state of your body, the state of your relationships, the state of your bank account, the state of the room you're sitting in. Right. It's affected all of that. Right. So we are the source of all the results that we're getting in our life right now. And we're the source of all the results we're not getting, right? Which is hopefully an empowering thought to our friends, not a you're doing something bad. It's not about shaming or blaming. It's about empowering, so that you understand, like, you can have it all. And that first step is, how are you thinking? Right? If there's an inner toxic conversation going on all the time around, I'm not good enough, I can't, it's never going to work for me, it doesn't work for people like me, I can't get healthy, this is my genetics, my whole family for generations has been sick. Right. Like, if that's the inner conversation, you are being more loyal to your disease. You're being more loyal to it not working out. So what we do is we go in right away, and we start we help women start to set a different foundation in regards to, how do you think? And if it's the glass is always half empty, then we really help them shift that to the glass is half full. Right. And my glass is actually it's overflowing. And we really help shift that. One simple thing that they can do, because I like giving people something to walk away with, is something that we've even just spoken about in this interview already. Right. Instead of have tos, I have to get better. I have to relieve my stress. You actually don't have to do anything. Right. We get to. Right? We get to feel amazing. We get to take power, get back into a position of power in our choices. And even beyond the get to, we're blessed to. Right. We're blessed that we get to do this work. We're blessed that we found each other in this conversation right now. We're blessed that we have the awareness, and this is in our space, so that we can change our lives. Right. So even that shift, because when we feel we have to do something, oftentimes we rebut, we kick back, we push back. You can't tell me what I have to do, right? And so there's this little piece of us inside that's like, no, exactly. I'm not going to do that because you're telling me I have to do it. But when we choose, when we opt in, that's powerful.
Right. Absolutely. I always say, you never make any decisions based on shame, fear, guilt, or anger. You do it because you want to. Yes. Right? And so people sometimes make decisions based on certain emotions. And you're right. There's this rebelliousness that's unconscious or subconscious. They don't even know that they're doing it. So when you make it a choice, and so some people is like, well, I don't have any choices about this. I'm stuck with this. It's like, well, I know, I mean, I understand that they're in pain and in distress. And it's kind of hard, to talk about these things when people are feeling this way, but the conversation still needs to happen. Right. Still needs to happen about changing mindset, as hard as it is, because sometimes people think that you're not being empathic, but yes, we know exactly where you're at, but the mindset is so important. And like you said, getting away from being the diagnosis, being the diagnosis and whether it's a mental illness diagnosis or, mental disorder or physical disorder, sometimes people get so caught up in the diagnosis that they're not able to move beyond that with their
Right.
life.
Great point. You are
Right?
not your diagnosis. I love that. And a quick, this reminds me of if I can share a quick story, a client story from
Sure.
yesterday. Actually, I was on the phone with one of my clients yesterday. It's a woman who is wanting to do work with us. And so, our programs are by invitation only. And everybody who's listening, Dr. Stein has invited you to be her guest. She's going to give you a link to the Believe event. We'll talk about that in a minute. You have an invitation. But I was talking to this woman yesterday, and who's wanting to go deeper into this work with us. And she was just so digging her heels in to her story of, I can't. Yes, but. Yes, but. Yeah, yes, I want that, but. And every time myself and one of our other coaches was on the phone with her, every time we gave her a solution, it was a yes, but. Yes, but I can't because.
Yeah.
And here's the truth about that woman. Unless she allows herself to move into a conversation of yes and versus yes but, she will stay in a life of struggle, right? Until she becomes coachable, until she raises her hand and she says, and it's just like what you were talking about, yes, this isn't the situation I chose, and what am I going to do with it from here? Versus, yes, this isn't the decision I chose, and I want out, but I can't get out.
Right.
Like, those are two very, very different come froms. And the one that has the yes, but, like, nothing changes from that place, right? You know what gets to happen? You get to be right. And it's like, yay, congratulations, you won.
And stuck. Right.
You get to stay stuck. Right. You win.
You get to be right.
And it's like, who wants that, right? And so I think something that can help our friends here understand, like, because they might say, well, but then why do I keep doing it? Why do I keep staying in the rut? Why do I keep cycling through these beliefs? And there's usually one of three reasons, or multiple of one of these reasons. After working with so many thousands of women, I have found it's usually they want to be right, they want to look good, or they want to stay safe, right?
Right.
And it could be a variation, it could be a hybrid of those, it could be something other than that, but these three I see a lot. And so let's even talk about the depression, right? Let's talk about the diagnosis, mental diagnosis, or depression, just to have an example. And so let's say that someone has depression, but you are giving them all these great, like, you mapped out a great protocol. It includes coming to the Believe event. It includes doing this mindset work, and it's mapped out. Like, we're handing it to them on a silver platter. Do these things and you're going to find relief. Because you and I both know, because we have thousands and thousands of hours under our belt working with thousands of different personalities and people, we do know we have the proven formula, right? But they keep digging in and they don't want to shift and they don't want to change. And we get curious and interested. Well, what's really going on here? Why are you still staying in the habits, the patterns, and the thoughts that aren't going to get you new results? And perhaps we do some work with that person, that woman, and we discover, even though she wants to change her life, it feels scary to her because it's new and it's different and it's outside her comfort zone. And what if I give it my all and I stumble and I fall? Or what if I give it my all and I'm more visible? What if I give it my all and I feel more vulnerable and I get hurt? What if I allow myself to love again and my heart gets broken?
Right.
I'd rather just not go there.
Right.
And so they would rather stay safe. Right.
Yeah, well, familiar, at least it's familiar, basically, at least what to expect, right? As opposed to grow. I mean, growing is uncomfortable. Growing has to do with change and learning new things and encountering things that are unfamiliar.
Right.
And so you have to be able to go there, and doing it with someone that you trust or a group that you trust is the best way to do it.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, I was just led a one. So, as part of our program, we do women's retreats. We do two as part of the year. And I was just leading a women's retreat and I was showing them a video. We did a whole training on change. And so I love that you brought up that word because a lot of what happens for a lot of people is they equate change equals pain. Right. And we did this whole training, and wow, the breakthroughs that happened were amazing. And it was like, well, what if, let's look on the other side of this. What if change, not that it's not always, it's not always going to be easy and maybe it feels uncomfortable, but what if change started to equate opportunity for you?
Right.
Right. And we started to really shift the perspective on that, because until we're willing to even look at something a different way, that door is going to want to stay closed. Right. And I don't need people to throw wide open a closed door. I just need a crack to work with. Like, let's just crack, let's just give us a little bit of an opportunity. And that's enough for me to work with. I'm good with that. Right. And then from that place, you know, I can pour strength, I can pour wisdom, I can pour belief in oneself into that person. And it doesn't happen like, you don't go from 0 to 100 overnight. We just need to go, like, if it's a ladder, you don't go from the bottom step to the top step right away. We just need to go up one step at a time. Right. One baby step is enough. And baby step upon baby step, like little steps, oh my gosh, all of a sudden you're at the top of the mountain. Baby steps work. They work. Absolutely. Right. And that allows people to feel more safe with that safety conversation. It can, you can gradually come into this major breakthrough and major transformation in your life. And we can do it gradually. It doesn't have to be this massive, big shift all at once.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's great. I think what you're offering is really wonderful. And I'm looking forward to telling everyone about it. What I know we don't have that much time because we both have a hard stop at in about 10 minutes. So what else would you like to share with our listeners here and that you think is really important to include today?
Yeah, well, so you know, Dr. Stein's inviting all of you guys to the Believe event. So maybe just let me share a little bit about that, because I think that it's easy to say, oh, well, it worked for other people, but I don't think it'll work for me. Or I've been to so many events by this point, or I've read so many personal development books, or, you know, I've already tried it all, you know, how is this going to be different? It's different. Let me just say it is very different. So the Believe event. So we are not new to this conversation. This is actually our 6th annual. We've done this event 6 years in a row. We've had thousands of women go to this event. For women over 21, let me just say that. Women over 21 who are really committed to transforming their life. Doesn't mean it doesn't feel scary. It doesn't mean that you already have all the clarity you need in regards to where you want to go. You'll get that. Okay. We'll help you map that out. But the Believe event is, it's not even just an event. It's an experience.
Yeah.
It's a total full body experience. So this is the first year we're doing it it's in person, but it's live, but it's online. Right. So this year it's super easy. You don't have to pay for flights. You don't have to pay for hotel, anything like that. This is the year to come check it out. Makes it very easy. But with that being said, you know, I know over the last 18 months, there's a lot of online events now. And most of us have been to at least a few. Right. And I know for a fact, some of the stuff that we're going to be doing at the Believe event is stuff that I have not seen anywhere with online events yet. And it really is going to be an experience that could be the experience that changes everything for somebody. Right. And I've had countless women say to me that there was life before the Believe event and how they operated, and then there was life after the Believe event.
Right.
And I feel 110% confident in saying that. And what's going to happen there? So let me explain. It's 3 days that we're going to have together, and it's with me personally. And as you guys can tell, I cover a lot of information in a short period of time. So there's room for exponential growth in a very short period of time. I don't think you need 20 years to get to where you want to go. And in 3 days, we can make major headway on that. Right. And so it's really about, helping you gain a clarity on, well, who do I want to be as a woman I respect in this world, and including with yourself, including your health, and what do I want my life to look like?
Right.
And we're going to uncover some shocking information about the people, everybody. I'm going to speak directly to our friends as if you're coming, where you're probably going to discover some shocking information about yourself in regards to how you have been holding yourself back and you didn't even realize it. Mm-hmm. And until we raise your awareness on that, like on day one, we'll raise your awareness on that. Until you have the awareness on that, nothing can change. Absolutely. Okay, so day one is about clarity. It's about awareness. It's about letting go of things that aren't serving us, that will shock you. Right. And then day two is really about, and then it's about that creation piece. Like, what do I want to create from here? Yes. And it's fun and it's exciting and it's going to blow your socks off. And you might be surprised what actually comes out when you get out of your own way. Mm-hmm. And then comes the conversation of, but how am I going to do it? And then in day three, we map out exactly how you get to do it. I know, it's awesome. We map out exactly how you're going to get to do it, because if you leave that event confused, like a confused mind does nothing, right? And so to serve you best, we want you to walk away with a roadmap, a very clear roadmap that you and I create together based on what your dreams are and what your big dream life and your goals are. And you're the common denominator. So we focus on developing the woman, because we develop the woman, and because she's the common denominator in every aspect of her life, her health, her wealth, her love, her career. So when we focus on you, everything gets to go to the next level organically. Right. It's just how it happens, just naturally.
The domino effect.
It's the domino effect. It's the
totally domino effect. I completely agree with you. I mean, these are the kinds of things that I talk about with my patients individually. And one of the reasons why I created the boot camp is because, and we talk about these very things, there's more power in the group, because when you see someone who is being vulnerable in front of you, and then you think, oh, wow, if they can do that, I can do that. And it just gives you permission. And it also creates a safe space. So there's a lot that can be done in a group format, and especially when you're really drilling down to the emotions and the transformation piece and getting out of the chatter about diet and movement and sleep and just the thoughts. I mean, thoughts are part of it, but people don't spend enough time really, really talking about emotions and moving that emotion, that energy around emotions and shifting it and really putting it where you want it to be. Everything else just follows.
Right. Yeah. And there's actually quite a bit of research. It was probably like 6 years ago. It was Christmas, and I remember I was at my mom's house, and I was sitting in her kitchen. She comes in with the magazine, The Economist, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, Kerry, look, this is exactly what you've been saying." And she showed me there was a study there, and I think it was by one of the universities. I'm sorry, I can't remember which one, but the university did a study, and in that study, it was saying, like, okay, it was a health program that they put people through, a virtual one, which is quite progressive at the time. And the people who had the most success were the ones that how they categorized it, that did it with friends. And the ones that sustained their transformation, sustained their results from that study, were the ones that did it with friends. Wow. And there's a lot of research in regards to doing this. Like, lone wolfing doesn't work. It's very hard. But doing this work as a community in a tribe that is safe. And I will say that's one thing we're very well known for, is creating safe spaces and sacred safe spaces. We are very well known for it. I mean, women have said to us, I've shared more with you guys than I've shared with like my spouse who I've been married for 30 years. Right. And so, I mean, I hear this all the time. So it's freedom.
Yes.
Right.
And a purging of all these things that have been burdening you and weighing you down, right? That you really need to create that space. Yeah.
And let me say this, we have so much fun doing it. So it's not like this heavy, like it's not like heavy thing. Like we have so much fun. It's crazy. I mean, we have the people who come to Believe and our clients, I mean, they really do become like family. We all become like family. And we've had women in our community 3, 4, 5+ years that then bring their sisters and their cousins. Like that's how our business has actually grown, has been by word of mouth, which is huge, right? Because it means the work works. And then people want to bring their loved ones into the conversation because they want them to have a transformed life too.
Right.
So super fun to do this work with families and people who know each other, because then lineages change, your children's lives change, your grandchildren's lives change.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just, it's breathtaking.
That's great. That's fantastic. Yeah, I know this whole interview has been mostly about the Believe event, and we'll have to talk again another time, and really get down and dirty in terms of, what brought you to this place. I'm so interested about your own journey and how you came upon developing your whole system. But we are out of time, unfortunately, and so we'll have to meet again. And maybe it'll be after the Believe event, and really talk about what's happened and prepare for the next one.
Yeah, cool. And if anybody wants to know a little bit about my story, just go to the link that Dr. Stein's going to leave you. She has a special link for her friends and family to come to Believe. And there's a little bit on that page that just says about the host, and that'll help you understand like why I'm so passionate about this. Like I hit a pretty bad rock bottom, and it was decades ago, but this system was birthed from that place. And I just want to share with all of our friends and family, if I can move out of that place, so can you. No matter what your current age, your current size, your current diagnosis, economic status, professional status, whatever it is, if you have the right strategies in the right order and the right people around you, I promise you, you can make miracles happen, because miracles don't happen to the lucky. Miracles happen to those with a vision and a commitment to that vision and consistent, inspired action behind it. Right. And then all of a sudden you'll say, oh my God, it's a miracle. And it's like, yes, and it's a miracle because we were strategic about bringing it into your life.
Right.
Very different.
Right. Great. So, I'm so excited about this. I really am really excited, and I'm going to be telling all my patients about it. And I have specific people that I'm going to have very personal invitations about. It's like, you have to do this.
I will take very good care of them. They're like transformed. So it's nothing they've experienced before. I'm very excited. And thank you for trusting me with them and having me here on your podcast. And I know we're going to do some lives on social media soon. And so thank you for trusting me.
Just to remind everyone.
Thank you for trusting me. And I will take very good care of your people. We've had extraordinary results with thousands of people. We are not throwing spaghetti on the wall. This is nothing new. Like we have a system.
Yep, I believe it. Yes. All right. Well, thank you for coming. I really appreciate your time, and I really look forward to the whole event and the transformations that you will make happen.
Yeah. I'll see you guys at Believe. Bye.